Well, we need to look at this visit from a historical perspective. Kenya has always had an on and off relationship with Tanzania. But as much as we have had those challenges in terms of how we relate, we are neighbors. Yeah. You don't choose your neighbors. Your neighbors are what God gives you based on the location that you are born. So we must acknowledge that we must find mechanisms on how to coexist with our neighbors. And if you look at the history of Kenya in terms of trade, in terms of partnership, there was a time, I think in Moi's time and even Ali Kibaki's time, Kenya actually was second in terms of investment in Tanzania. As much as Uganda was our biggest trade partner, in terms of the areas where we had invested most as a country outside Kenya, Tanzania was one of those regions. A lot of businesses that were in Kenya were also investing in Tanzania, because remember, there was a time we could not do cross-border trade. So most Kenyans went and set up businesses in Tanzania to be able to take advantage of that market. So number two, we have also seen where our trade volumes growing up over the years, especially in areas, for example, to do with the agriculture, where we buy a lot of produce from Tanzania to Kenya. And as we continue to grow as a population and our area of production goes reducing, we have relied on our regional neighbors to feed our people. Yes. So that is very important, because as a head of state, you need to make sure that your people are able to feed themselves. So it's important that he is able to ensure that despite the challenges in terms of relationship that we have in the past, we continue establishing mechanisms where we can be able to do business together. The common man can be able to go buy onions, beans, milk from Tanzania and maize, and be able to provide the required resources to feed its nation. Thirdly, as a region, we have opened up ourselves to the East African community. And the East African community presents a very unique opportunity of over 250 million population. Then you ask yourself, if we are buying as a region, just between Kenya, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, we spend over, we buy over 500 million liters of oil. If you add what Tanzania uses, what Burundi uses, what South Sudan uses, then it makes sense for us to go into the direction of Nigeria, where Dangote has made a very bold move by investing in a refinery in Nigeria, which today is what is saving Nigeria or West Africa region in terms of providing fuel, which for a very long time they were relying from what was being provided by Europe. And today, if we had the same refinery here, we would now be providing. Why don't you have it? Because even the president said, if I had an opportunity, I would have done this back home. You see, we as a country have made decisions in the past that have come to haunt us. We had a refinery in the country, and instead of building on it, we went into becoming a big buyer of refined fuel from the Middle East. Just like we have seen today, most of the stocks in our supermarkets are imported things from China. Yet for a very long time as a country, we used to manufacture our things, export to Tanzania, Uganda, and other parts of the region. So we have made decisions in the past that today are haunting us, because as a country, we have become reliant on what is called imported goods to meet our needs. And I'll give you a good example that has failed in such an area. Venezuela, when they had a very good economy supported by oil, they went into relying to imported goods up to the extent they could not produce tissue. So when the oil could not be sold in the international market, the Venezuelans were suffering because they did not have money to buy anything and they could not produce anything for themselves. Today, if you wake up and spend money in your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, 50% of those things that you consume there are imported goods. If you wake up and you dress and you prepare yourself to go to work, 90% of what you wear or you prepare yourself with is imported products. That is a very bad decision.